Donald Trump and the MAGA movement are encountering a harsh reality in Florida, where the latest polls indicate that Trump is significantly underwater. Multiple traditionally red states reflect similar trends, with Texas showing Trump at minus 17.2, but Florida currently registers at minus 7.5. What was once considered a reliably red state is showing signs of shifting, as voters express frustration with the current regime. Observations from recent state house and mayoral races indicate major Democratic upsets, signaling that the electorate is increasingly dissatisfied. This sentiment cuts across demographics, reflecting widespread discontent with the Trump administration's policies and approach. The Cuban population in Florida, historically targeted under stringent immigration policies, experienced deportations at unprecedented levels, despite earlier assurances from the Trump administration that enforcement would focus solely on criminals. Similarly, Venezuelan pro-democracy supporters, who had pinned hopes on figures like Maria Corina Machado, are disillusioned as the Trump administration engages with oppressive elements such as Delcy Rodriguez to secure Venezuelan oil revenues, reportedly routed to Qatari accounts benefiting Trump. International tourism in Florida has also suffered due to Canadian and European boycotts, which have escalated in response to Trump's conduct abroad. Domestic policy decisions further compound local challenges. Plans for offshore oil drilling along Florida's coastline raise environmental and economic concerns, as projected spill models suggest potential disasters. Utility costs and insurance premiums are rising, amplifying financial strain for residents. Governor DeSantis, appearing detached from these issues, has faced criticism for dismissive comments regarding upcoming winter storms affecting the East Coast, which many argue demonstrates a lack of solidarity during crises. FEMA preparedness remains inadequate, highlighting vulnerabilities in state and federal disaster response systems. This combination of leadership missteps and policy controversies has generated widespread dissatisfaction among Floridians. Meanwhile, MAGA-aligned Republican representatives in Florida are confronting public backlash. Congressman Brian Mast, for example, has faced boos at town halls, reflecting constituents' frustrations with federal spending and perceived inefficiency under the administration. Initiatives such as the federal DOGE program, intended to streamline government operations and reduce waste, have been contentious. Critics argue that while the program aims to curb unnecessary spending, citing instances like $15 million in aid to adversaries, it has also disrupted standard federal operations, leaving constituents skeptical of its overall success. This growing discontent creates opportunities for Democratic candidates to challenge entrenched Republican seats. Pia Dandia, a high-achieving former teacher and school founder, has emerged as a formidable contender against Brian Mast. Her background includes establishing a high school in Harlem, New York, achieving a 100% college admission rate for students, and serving as a White House Fellow. Raised in Jupiter, Florida, Dandia combines local roots with a record of public service and educational leadership, positioning her as a credible alternative in Florida's 21st congressional district. Her campaign emphasizes community engagement, human-centered policy, and fundraising success, reflecting a broader strategy to capitalize on Republican vulnerabilities in the state. Chapter 2. Dandia's campaign is grounded in a strong connection to her district and a history of public service. Born and raised in Jupiter, Florida, her family has a long-standing presence in the area, with her father serving as a doctor for decades and her mother founding a school. Motivated by these roots, Dandia pursued higher education in government and committed to addressing the needs of underprivileged communities. Her experience as a teacher in high-poverty schools provided direct insight into the challenges facing students and families, informing her approach to leadership and policy. At 28, Dandia became the principal of a high school in Harlem, initially serving 100 students with a small staff. Through meticulous expansion and dedicated oversight, the school grew annually, maintaining high academic standards and achieving a 100% college placement rate. Her hands-on management included hiring teachers, addressing disciplinary issues, and ensuring that all students received equitable educational opportunities. This demonstrated her capacity to effect meaningful change within complex systems, a skill she now translates to her congressional campaign. Dandia emphasizes that her approach combines operational expertise with a commitment to social impact, seeking to replicate these outcomes for families across Florida. The political landscape of Florida's 21st District underscores the strategic importance of her campaign. Historically leaning Republican, the district includes 40% registered Republicans, 30% Democrats, and 30% independents. While Donald Trump secured 58% of the vote in the 2024 presidential election here, and Brian Mast won re-election with 62%, shifting voter sentiment, particularly among independents and dissatisfied Republicans, suggests potential openings for Democratic gains. Dandia notes that constituents are increasingly evaluating candidates based on tangible impacts on everyday life, such as healthcare, affordability, social security, and environmental protections, rather than strict party allegiance. Key campaign milestones reflect a strategic focus on coalition building and voter engagement. Dandia's team emphasizes grassroots initiatives, including hosting 100 house parties district-wide, coordinating with elected officials, business leaders, and nonprofits to foster a human connection with voters. Fundraising achievements and high-profile endorsements enhance the campaign's visibility and credibility, signaling viability in a competitive district. These efforts are designed to address both immediate electoral objectives and long-term engagement with constituents, demonstrating a commitment to sustained public service rather than transient political gain. Critiques of the current Republican representation further define Dandia's platform. Brian Mast is portrayed as aligned with Trump-backed policies that prioritize federal expenditures on initiatives that critics deem misdirected or inefficient, from international aid to controversial administrative programs. Local constituents reportedly experience the effects of these policies through rising costs, strained public services, and perceived neglect of community needs. Dandia positions herself as an accountable alternative, emphasizing responsiveness to constituent concerns, transparency, and evidence-based policymaking. Her campaign messaging integrates her professional accomplishments with a practical understanding of the district's needs, creating a narrative of effective leadership grounded in lived experience. Chapter 3. As the election approaches, Dandia's campaign underscores the interplay between local and national political dynamics. Voter sentiment in Florida reflects broader dissatisfaction with Trump and MAGA-aligned representatives, translating into opportunities for Democratic candidates to gain traction in previously secure Republican districts. Historical patterns, such as recent state house and Senate seat gains for Democrats with notable swings, suggest that strategic targeting of districts like Florida's 21st can yield measurable results. By leveraging both grassroots mobilization and professional expertise, Dandia seeks to maximize outreach and build momentum toward Election Day. Engagement with constituents remains a central theme. Dandia emphasizes in-person interactions, direct communication, and community-based initiatives to ensure that campaign messaging resonates authentically. This human-centered approach is designed to contrast with the perceived detachment of incumbent representatives, highlighting accountability, empathy, and service-oriented leadership. Her campaign strategy integrates policy advocacy with demonstrable achievements in education and public service, reinforcing her credibility and capacity to implement change at both district and national levels. The campaign also addresses pressing issues affecting Floridians, including healthcare affordability, social security reliability, environmental protection, and clean water access. These concerns form the foundation of Dandia's policy platform, which prioritizes tangible benefits for constituents and evidence-based solutions. By framing her approach within both local and national contexts, the campaign demonstrates an understanding of systemic challenges and offers practical mechanisms to address them. This positions Dandia as a capable, responsive leader, prepared to meet the multifaceted demands of congressional service. Finally, Dandia's trajectory from educator to school founder, White House fellow, and congressional candidate illustrates a consistent commitment to public service and generational impact. Her track record in Harlem demonstrates her ability to manage complex initiatives, foster long-term success for marginalized communities, and deliver measurable results. By translating these experiences into a congressional campaign, Dandia aims to replicate this model of effective leadership in Florida's 21st District. Through strategic planning, community engagement, and policy-focused advocacy, the campaign seeks to challenge entrenched political norms and provide constituents with accountable, competent representation. Her campaign website and social media channels serve as ongoing points of engagement, allowing voters to follow developments, connect with the candidate, and participate in shaping the district's political future. Overall, the election reflects a critical juncture in Florida politics, where local dissatisfaction, national trends, and candidate credentials converge. Dandia's campaign embodies an evidence-based, community-oriented approach designed to address constituent needs while maintaining a professional, strategic, and credible platform. Through persistent outreach, effective messaging, and alignment with voter priorities, the campaign positions itself as a credible alternative to incumbent representation, seeking to transform political engagement in Florida's 21st District.